Welcome to Books and Looks, where we do a deep dive with authors to help you discover your next great read. Now, be careful. Don't touch that. That could kill you. Well, we spend our lives telling our children and our relatives what's dangerous for them. Now we have a series of children's books, middle-aged books, middle school books, titled The Deadliest, in which the author, Eleanor Spicer Rice, turns her trained scientific eye to such topics as flowers, snakes, spiders, and big cats. In each of these categories, she has a book, and she categorizes in each of them in her books titled The Deadliest. This is a superb illustrations, and she uses a game show format where each contestant gives their qualifications, and then she discusses that. And at the end, we have a winner, or maybe it's a loser. I don't know. But it's a great book for the entire family. I'm Blaine DeSantis. This is Books and Looks, and today we're talking with Eleanor Spicer Rice about her series of books, The Deadliest. Eleanor Spicer Rice, welcome to Books and Looks.
Blaine, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, I am so glad that you're on and joining us, and I tell you what, you have written a wonderful series of science books for children, kids. I will get into what age this pertains to, but it's a wonderful book. And here's one, friends. The Deadliest Flower. We're here to talk about the Deadliest series. I'm telling you, these are great stuff. Now, I've had a lot of people on, Eleanor. I've had bridal shop owners be turned authors. I had a molecular geneticist turned author. And now I've got you, a PhD in entomology, not entomology, entomology. What is an entomologist?
An entomologist is somebody who studies bugs. Now, sometimes we'll count spiders in there, but real entomologists don't count them or millipedes and stuff, but we could include them. But we study bugs. My specialty was ants and bees. And that it's bugs are really important. They're 80% of named life on Earth. Like most of the world around you that's named is bugs. 20% of life on Earth that's named is beetles alone. So that's what we study. Bugs.
Did you always want to study bugs, or did you go to college and get fascinated with it? How'd that come about?
Well, I always liked bugs. And I'm from a small town, so I didn't know that you could study bugs. I mean, you are from the big town of Greenville, so that's a huge city to me. I thought you could be a teacher or a vet. And then when I went to the university, I wanted to study animals, and I learned that most of the animals in the world are bugs. So I thought I would get the biggest bang for my buck if I studied bugs. Then I would know the most about things. And it's worked out because it's fascinating.
Now, when you were in your PhD cohort, were there a lot of people there, or was it just you? There a lot of people studying bugs?
There are tons of us
Oh
because
my God.
we're sneaky though, because their bugs touch every single thing that you do. So, 1 out of every 3 bites that you eat comes from something that's been pollinated by a honeybee or a bee, and we need our crops get eaten by bugs. There are bugs all around our houses. And if you took the bugs out of the world, our entire life would collapse and we would all die. So, but there are more entomologists than you would think doing sneaky things around in the
All right. I'm going to be checking here. See if there are any entomologists here. Don't see any here right now. They're sneaking around
you
my
know
house.
what? There are
But there's some
spiders.
bugs here. They're
Oh, yeah.
bugs. Yes, there are.
The
Oh, yeah.
average Can I give you a little bug fact about your
Go
house?
ahead. Give us a bug fact.
There was recently a study in your house where they found that the average house, clean houses, have 100 different species of bugs inside their house. Not 100 different bugs, 100 different types of bugs
Wow.
live inside your house.
Wait till my
The
wife
more
sees this.
Oh, the more bugs species you have in your house, the fewer pests you have in your house. So, like, there's a bug that lives in most of the houses around where I live that's this tiny wasp, and all it does is fly around and lay eggs in cockroach egg purses and kills baby cockroaches that way. So the wasp's babies hatch out in the egg purse. It swims around in the egg purse, eats all the baby cockroaches, and then hatches out as a wasp. And they live in houses all over the place. And so we're surrounded by bugs. Plus, you're never more than 4 feet from a spider. That's a real thing too. You're surrounded by spiders everywhere.
Do you know that wasps go into figs? and then the fig toxin kills the wasp.
I don't know. I know that without a wasp, we would never have figs because the wasp is the fig is designed to only be pollinated by this one type of wasp, which has to climb into the fig. They die in there.
They die in there, yes.
They do die in there after the thing is pollinated, and every time you eat a fig, you're eating lots of dead baby wasp and living
You know,
fig.
my wife's making fig preserves tomorrow, so I'll make
This is
sure she
good.
tried to fish out any little
You
remnants of
you
the wasp.
The average American eats 4 pounds of insects a year in their food.
Oh my lord.
If you go through, like, what the USDA allows in your food, it's like 1 cockroach or 1 insect leg and 2 wings per jar of peanut butter. You're eating tons and tons of bugs every year without knowing it. You're welcome.
I told you this interview could go on, didn't I?
Well, there you
This is
go.
amazing. Well, you begin your writing career focusing on ants. Ants? Ants. How many books did you write on ants? And
I don't even know,
they
Blaine.
differ from region to region? Is this true?
There's some I have one that's a big picture book that you can just look at. This incredible photographer took pictures, and he let me write about it for adults, and then there's one for all ages that goes through California, Chicago, New York, and then all around. And then in that series, there's also one about spiders. And do you wanna know, can I tell you something about that?
Feel free.
I had just gotten a PhD in ants. I was hanging out with the biggest I mean, I don't mean to brag here, but the biggest ant people in the world. You know, nobody cares about ants, but ant people do. But I I started to write the books, and they're called Dr. Eleanor's Books of Common Ants or Spiders. And I asked around and I said, "What's the most common ant living here? You know, what are our common ants?" All the experts. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what was common because we rarely look around us to see what's happening. So they got people, just everybody, not like citizens, to mail in their ants to find out what the most common ants are living around us, and they were shocked. We were shocked at what we found that was common. We just had our idea of what the pests were because we don't think about bugs unless they bother us, but most bugs are not pests. Most bugs are extraordinarily helpful, and it's the same thing with spiders. We had no idea what the most common spiders were that live around us, but now we do. You can read the books.
There you go. But then, well, I know there was one for Los Angeles and there was one for Chicago. Do those ants differ, or do you just focus on different ants?
Well, that some of them there's some overlap, and then some of them, they're different because they live in different things. So, you know, in LA, it's kind of a Mediterranean climate, so there are different kinds of ants that can live there. In my state, North Carolina, we have 250 species of ants that we know about that live here, you know? And you in South Carolina actually have a few more species that we know about that can live there. So it just depends on your climate and the types of plants that you have that allow the ants. But ants are extraordinarily important to the world. They're one of the most important creatures we have on the planet. So without ants, if you took all of what bugs away, life would stop. If you took all of the ants away, life would also stop. They turn more soil than earthworms. They operate at every single level of the food web. They're really, really important to have around. But I understand that they also drive you crazy when they're hanging out in your kitchen.
So when I have ants in my pants, there are actually maybe ants in my pants. You never
There might
know.
be ants in your pants. You should say
Okay.
hello.
Well, now you switched from ants to writing children's books. And first of all, why did you decide to do that? And then you started out with this series called the Hidden World series. How did that come about?
The Your Hidden Life series came about because there's a National Science Foundation grant from all of these research institutions who were studying mind controlling and behavior altering microbes. And they realized that there was nothing written for children about these things. So the National Science Foundation worked with these labs who worked with me to write a book about it. And I did not want to write it because I thought it was going to be boring, but it turned out to be one of the most microbes control most of your body is microbes. Like our most conservative estimates is 3 to 1 in our bodies, microbe cells to human cells. They make the same neurotransmitters that our brains make to talk to each other. So microbes in your stomach can literally make you feel depressed or happy. and you think it's you, but you're being controlled by these creatures that are living inside of you. I mean,
Wow.
there's tons of microbes. They cover every surface, every piece of your body.
Now
So,
that
and the
that is a
world.
children's book, right? That is a children's
Yeah,
book,
it's a
correct?
children's
Okay,
book. Yeah.
alright,
So it
wow.
talks about what the microbes are doing to our cicadas, what microbes are doing on our pets, what they're doing. It helps children to see microbes, these animals that you can't see. And then after that, the second book in the series is about weird stuff that your pets do that you can learn the science behind it. Like, can I tell you something weird that your pets do?
Sure,
Because
absolutely.
you have a dog.
Yes, I
So here's
do.
what I want you to do. When
Okay.
your dog goes to the bathroom, I want you to watch it because you know how they spin this way and they stop
Oh, yes.
in that way, and then they stop at a random place?
Yes.
Okay, it's not random. When your dog stops to go to the bathroom, they're 9 times out of 10 aligning their body with the north-south axis of Earth's electromagnetic field.
Can you believe that?
It's
Wow.
real. It's real, and they're
Yeah,
doing it because that's one of the ways that we discovered that dogs help navigate their ways, these incredible journeys you
yeah.
see they get home.
Yes,
That's one of the
yes.
ways to do it, because they're able to detect Earth's electromagnetic field, and animals who do that feel more comfortable when they're lined up with the axis. So they're just being a little compass needle when they're going to the bathroom, and then they stop. So look at the sun next time, see where north is, and then or east or west, and then watch and see which way they line up. I guarantee you
You
that
know,
little.
you're right. I don't walk the dog because I have some ambulatory issues, but I see my wife walking him, and you're right, he does do north-south, but does not
Yeah,
do east-west.
you don't
That's
wanna do that.
fascinating.
Unless it's an emergency, then there
Well,
might be
yeah.
something wrong with them. But in general, they'll line their bodies up north, south. So
Get
the second
outta
book
here.
explores that kind of behaviors, and then the third book in that series is coming out next year, and it's about all these conversations that are going around us with animals and plants and stuff that we can't really hear, but we can tell that it's going on if we know what to look for it. So it's like how squirrels talk to each other. Did you know that turtles are very vocal? We always thought they were silent until the last 5 years, and somebody finally started listening to them, and they talk in infrasound. So ultrasound is too high for us to hear, infrasound is too low for us to hear. Turtles talk all the time in infrasound. They have a whole languages between each other. Isn't that
And
wild?
these are kids' books, friends. These are for those of you out there, these are books that are designed for your children to learn something, and you know what? We learn more than the kids. It's
I learned so
fantastic.
much. Yeah, for all of these
This
books.
woman, she's an amazing author and writer, I'll tell you. Well, let's move on to you know, your books, these are called children's books, okay? Are what age do you think they're appropriate for? It's not that they're gross or gory or anything, but the reading and
Well,
the
yeah, some
understanding.
people I would say adults think that they're gross, children usually don't, but I would say age, an advanced 2nd grader up through 6th grade. 6th grade might be a
Okay.
little bit old. People call it middle grade books, so 3rd through
Mhm.
5th is the
Okay.
usual
Alright.
people that like it.
Okay. There you go. Alright, now we know that. Now you then started your series called The Deadliest, and like I said, I have friends, I've shown you one, I showed you the flower. Here's the deadliest snake, okay?
There
That's
he
another
is.
one we have here. Yeah,
There he is.
look at this wonderful drawing too. We'll get into all this, but
Isn't
wow,
Max
just
great?
wonderful. It is. I
Max is
love
such a
these things.
great illustrator, I'm telling you. I have the other 2. Do you wanna see the cat? There's cats and
There are
spiders.
more. Oh my word, there's spiders and there's big
And
cat.
there's cats.
Yes,
Big and
yes.
small cats.
Well, how many have come out and been published so far? Tell
So
everybody that.
4 have come out so far, and then 2 more will come out at the end of the year. So we've got spiders, cats, flowers, and snakes, and then at the end of the year, we'll have insects and sea creatures, which
Can't wait to
to
see
me has a
creatures. I see
surprise ending. There's a surprise
I'm
ending there.
really looking forward to sea creatures. I'll tell
Thanks.
you what. Yeah. Tell our friends at W. Norton and Company to send one down my way because
Oh, they will. I'll tell them. 'Em.
I love
They'll
sea
be
creatures. That's a
excited to send
wonderful
it
one.
to you. Thanks.
Now, you know, things that strike me with your book include the illustrations. And this, did you pick the illustrator or did they pick the
I didn't.
illustrator?
Norton picked Max. I had never met him before, and he's just great. He's spent so much time in natural history museums looking at because he's like you, he's an artist, he didn't spend a lot of time looking at nature or science,
Right.
so he wanted to get these just right. So he would go down
Okay.
to the museums and look at the actual specimens and then watch videos of how they moved and
Okay.
what they were like
Yeah.
to make sure it was correct. So he was
Okay.
really good about that.
Wow. And how did you figure out which ones you wanted to do? Was there a way you wanted to present these Deadliest series?
I wanted to pick well, I pitched the series using spiders because I know a lot about spiders, and I know that spiders don't really kill people like we think that they do. There's a lot of misconception. So I thought children would read these books and get reassured by the world. But then I found out that everything else basically kills you. So I had just thrown in a bunch of extra ideas after spiders without researching it. And then it turns out that big cats eat people every year, and sometimes in horrifying ways. The snakes in India kill 60,000 people a year.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
like whole
Well,
cities.
let me just show everybody what everybody's commented on this photo because it's so, this picture here. Some things make you vomit. There you go. This is the stuff you find in here, friends.
Poor Max. Max had to just take these words and turn them into things for children
They're
because it's very
wonderful.
serious stuff. But and children can handle it. That's what we found. Is that and it helps them feel empowered to be a part of the world because it tells you not everything's gonna most stuff doesn't hurt you. So learn what does, and then you're fine with all the rest of it.
Right. Well, now I'm going back over here now for a minute because what you've done is you've made this a format that is just so different, so unique, so spectacular. You make it like a game show. Now, here we're on snakes again. Meet the contestants. Okay. I feel like I'm watching The Price is Right when I'm looking at this stuff. Come on
Price is
down,
right.
Mr. Black Mamba.
Yeah, it's true. Coming out.
You thought of this all by yourself?
Yeah, I thought it would be fun to have them compete.
It
So,
is
I thought that
so
if they could
great.
just well, thanks. And we have a winner, you have to have
Yeah,
somebody
well, we'll
who
get to that. We'll get to that. We can't get but yes, yes. And then what you do is you give us the contestants, and then they're so proud to show off why they are the deadliest, okay?
Yes, they are. And some of them are horrifyingly deadly.
Yes, and yet you get all of this information with multiple, multiple pictures and boxes of facts and everything in 40 pages. Now, was that a hard thing to do to whittle it down to 40?
It is, and I wish I could do less. And every book because I'm a science nerd, every book has about between 75 and 150 peer-reviewed journal facts that go into it. So, I went back to the original research. So, some of the stuff that's in the books has never been published for popular audiences before. So, it was really hard to every single thing was so cool. And so it was hard to not say everything that's cool. You just had to say some of the cool stuff.
Right.
But maybe
I
children
was told last year when talking to, I think it was Sarah Albee,
Mm.
who did children's books.
Yeah, she's so cool.
Yeah, every kid's book has to be of a multiple of 4. So you can't do 37 pages. You gotta be 36, 40, 44. You gotta have that. That's what the publisher can do. They can't do it. So 40 pages, concise, informative, tremendous. And then we get to the end of the book. Okay. We get to the end of the book and you come up and friends, I gotta show this. I'm sorry I stumble around here and fumbling. What are you doing, Blaine? I'm trying to get to the pages. You get to in every book, you get to the deathometer. That's right. At the end. And now it concisely shows to you why he
Yeah,
thinks they should be
gotta tell
considered.
you why they're the deadliest.
Yeah, it tells you
Some of
how
them
many they
get
kill
mad that they
each
don't
year.
win. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, tell me, because I just showed the big cats, okay? I just showed the big cats. And you always have in big cats, well, in all your other books, you have 7. What happened to this one? We don't have 7 in big cats.
We
What's the
have
story
6,
there?
all of them. It's a
Why is
sixer.
that? Okay, well, why do we
So,
what happened? There are more than 6 big cats, though.
there are more than 6 big cats, so we had to kick somebody out. So we kicked the snow leopard out because 'cause they're the smallest and they can't roar because there's 7 big cats in the world. So, cheetahs also don't kill anybody, but people think that they do. And so he got to stay in. The cheetah got to stay in. So,
Is a lynx a snow leopard? What is a
nope.
lynx?
A lynx is a lynx.
A
A
lynx is
lynx
a
is a
lynx.
type of cat that's not big enough to be a big cat. Yeah, there's like a size cutoff with these cat
There
people.
is there is a size
There are a
cutoff,
lot of
okay.
cats. I think there's 38 species of cats or something in the world, and then there's only, 7 that can be the big cats. And so the lynx doesn't poor little guy. I think the snow leopard is our smallest big cat.
Right, right. Well, now, what we eventually in every book, we have a winner. You have to have a winner. If you have contestants, you gotta have a winner. Now, who chooses the winner? Do you choose it? Do you choose it do you have a criteria for choosing the winners?
I do. I had to make it across the board what would happen because there's one thing about being deadly is that some animals could kill you, but they don't. So I had to pick the winner based on who kills the most people. So the snake with the most toxic venom doesn't really kill anybody because nobody ever sees it. So that's not the deadliest. The snakes that kill the most people are the deadliest. And it's the same thing with flowers. The deadliest flower is by far one of the least toxic flowers, but it kills 8 million people every year.
Yes, I
So
know.
I mean, so that it's that. And, the deadliest sea creature, can I tell you what the deadliest sea can I ruin this book
The
for
book
you?
hasn't come out yet, so feel free.
Spoiler. Okay. So the deadliest sea creature is do you wanna guess?
I don't know what you consider a sea creature. A
Anything that lives
shark.
in the ocean. No,
A
it's not even
shark.
remotely a shark. I
Not
put a
even
shark
remote.
in there to make it people feel good because they're scared of sharks.
Okay, how about a ray? A ray, a stingray, a manta ray, something like that.
Pufferfish. It's a pufferfish.
The puffer fish,
And
yes,
it's
people eat
because
that.
we eat them on purpose.
Yes, yes,
So the
yes.
most toxic sea creature is this weird little snail called a cone snail. I'm sorry about my fingers. I was doing an ant demonstration and I got ants acid on my fingers and it burned my finger tops off. So
My
this is why
word.
it's me being stupid. So anyway, the deadliest um the deadliest sea creature is like the snail. He's very toxic. One snail could kill 700 people with one sting, but
My
nobody ever
god.
dies from them because nobody ever
Oh,
sees them. But
okay.
pufferfish are some of the less
Yeah,
deadly creatures, way less deadly than that snail, but they kill up to 50 people every
yeah.
year because we eat them on purpose.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, don't the, Asians, Chinese, Koreans, Japanese,
Mm, the
don't they isn't
Japanese.
that sort of a delicacy over there
Mhm. And here in some places, if you
in
know and they
Siam?
have specially trained people to know how to prepare them, but every now and again, they get it wrong and they get this toxin left in the meat from the pufferfish, and then the people die.
My daughter
So
is in Vietnam they're right on the sea there. I'm worrying. I'm gonna tell her, "Don't eat pufferfish if they have any." I don't know if there's
yes,
another way to
let her
call them
know.
over there.
Stay away from the
Let her
puffies.
stay away from the
Yes.
pufferfish.
Yeah.
She ends up in, Vietnam because she's a Pokemon Go influencer. She's been in
Really?
Thailand, Spain, Romania, Japan, you name it. She and her husband are traveling the world
Do they just
looking at
look for
Pokemon Go.
they look for the,
Yeah, you do something with your phone, I don't know, you tap, 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 dot, 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 and then they do I don't know, but just landed in
really?
Vietnam yesterday, so yeah,
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it
wonderful.
is, yeah. So that's my daughter. But anyway, so you do end up with a winner. Now, there is controversy, and I do wanna say that, friends, there is controversy, okay?
There's controversy.
Because when you get to the big cat, there is controversy. There are 2 big cats, which I think should be the winner, and I
Tell
think
me about it.
well, I don't wanna give away who it is, but 2 big cats kill about the same number of people each year. You chose one and
Yes, I
not
did.
the other. Now, was that a hard thing to do, or what was the how do you when it gets that close, how do you decide?
Well, I decided because of the math. So there's a
Okay.
lot more of one of the big cats that kills people than there is of the other. So per capita, the winner kills the most people. There are very few of the second one and shrinking. But so they kill more people per capita than the other ones. Um, and and what I learned from that, from the big cat book, is how perilous it is for them. For the big cats. They're going away and quick. And one of the main reasons that tigers, for example, are going away is because we eat so much of something called palm oil, which I thought we didn't eat. It's in everything. Our demand for palm oil is tremendous, so we keep taking away their houses to build this, and that's when we come into conflict, and that's when everything falls apart for both of us.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're
once
talking about the
again,
big cats.
our own fault. Yes.
We're talking about them, and friends, so you know who we're talking about here. We have the tiger, and you gotta love this picture of the tiger. Okay, here he is with sunglasses on. Okay, this is so great.
He's
So this
a
is the
good-looking
greatest series.
cat.
It
He's a
says,
cool cat.
I got style and claws to match. Say hello to the tiger. And this is for each one of these. We have the tiger, we got the leopard, there's the cheetah, we got the cougar, the lion, and the jaguar. And what we don't have is our dear friend. No, we do not have our dear friend, the snow leopard.
We
Not there.
don't we don't have him. He's just stuck off
Disappointing.
on the page later, but we
Disappointing.
explain him.
Yes,
It's like,
you do.
we could do a sequel, Blaine, and we could include your snow leopard if you needed us to,
Be wonderful.
because 'cause they're so
Medium
good
cats are,
looking.
yeah, they are. They're pretty animals. Absolutely.
They
Well, now,
are, they're good looking.
that which brings me to the question, are there medium cats that kill people?
Yes, people get killed sometimes from medium cats and small cats, but usually it comes from freak accidents. Like, the big cats are by far the cats that kill people, you know? I mean, I bet, and I haven't Googled this, so, I mean, but I bet more people die from, like, tripping over their cats
That's
than
true.
most of these big cats,
Yeah.
or from,
Wow.
like, the diseases that our cats give
Right.
us.
Right.
Then
We have a board game night every Wednesday here. We play Catan with our friends Christine and Jean, and they have 2 cats. I'm gonna make sure that we do not go to their house because I don't wanna trip over any cats, okay? We'll be here. So, wow.
or
I love playing
just
Catan.
go prepared because
Yeah,
forewarned is forearmed,
exactly.
Blaine.
Now, again, the deadliest flower, that was a fascinating, it threw me for a loop, and we're not gonna go tell people what it is, but it was, as you said, it's something that we do, which makes it the deadliest. It might not have the most toxin in it, but it's not, no, it's what kills most people. If let's forget if you had to pick a second place one though, who would be a second place? Would it be the belladonna, the deadly nightshade? Where would it be?
Go with wolfsbane because
Wolfbane,
people
okay.
encounter it so rarely, but it just knocks everybody out who takes it. I don't know who people are that walk around eating flowers, but some people do.
There
And
are. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and so wolfsbane is highly, highly toxic. So just don't. Or if you want to eat something, ask somebody who knows. Just like when you were in that class. If you ask somebody, they can tell you if it's deadly or not. Um, I mean, I will forage for mushrooms sometimes because I know maybe 4 mushrooms that you can eat. And so people will send me pictures of mushrooms that look similar, but not a lot of, and those things will kill them. They're asking if they can eat. So be sure to ask before you eat something out of the wild if you don't know already.
Now you have 4 out in the Deadliest series. You got 2 more coming out. Are there more planned after this in the
For the
Deadliest series?
I have some that I would like to write, but I don't know if they'll go for it. I really wanna do Deadliest Mushroom because as you know, Blaine,
Yes.
mushrooms can kill you in some
Yes.
really crazy ways. And
That would really be a good thing, and you can
oh,
tell your publisher to call me, and I'll be
I'll
glad
tell
to
them to call
push for
you.
that. Yeah, yeah,
And then I
really.
wanna do Deadliest Bird because I think that's a little bit of a surprise.
Oh,
And I also
wow.
wanna do Deadliest Weather, like the
Oh,
types of
wow.
weather that kill the most people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They may say yes, they may say, "Go away and leave us alone." We'll find out.
Well, um, I am a person who loves even numbers, so you need to get an 8th one in there, or the
Oh, what
10th,
do you
whatever
think
it
it
is,
should
even no.
be? What do you think it should be?
I'm gonna think about that, I will have to think about what it would be, because that's it. The birds are a very fascinating thing. Very, very
Yeah.
fascinating. I like
Yeah,
that.
and there's
Yeah.
really only 1 or 2 birds that kill people.
Yeah.
So, we could do the deadliest shark, but sharks really aren't that deadly.
No, no, and then they have their whole shows and Shark Weeks, all that
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah,
No, we
we
don't
gotta
need
pick
that.
something that
Gotta
we
fi
that we need to
Alright.
unnecessarily frighten people over, yeah.
You see,
Okay, we'll come up with
we'll
something.
come up with something.
Yeah.
Uh, now, you talked about the hidden world or whatever it was, the first series that had 2. You mentioned there's gonna be a 3rd one coming out. Now, when is that gonna come out?
That comes out next year, and we have a picture book through Candlewick also coming out next year about where animals go when it rains. Do you ever think about that when the storms come? Like, where do the birds go? What are the squirrels doing? So it tells you where they go, and it's just a sweet little 32 divisible by 4 page picture book,
When
about that,
when
and
it
then next year, mhm, in 2026, and then I have another picture book coming out that I wrote with Ore Crowfoot, who is the chief of the Siksika Nation in Canada, and he and I wrote a book about the ways that, First Nations is what they say in Canada, Indigenous
Mhm.
Americans or
Yes.
American the scientific advancements or innovations that they have made that we still use today, and how their scientific method worked because there's more than one way of learning and knowing and doing things. And we really focus in on our scientific method, but we come up with some pretty incredible stuff baby bottles, syringes, aspirin, hammocks, you name it. A lot of the things that we rely on to survive today were innovations that were made by our First Nations people. So he and I wrote a book. So that'll come out in 2027.
The Deadliest Creatures of the Arctic. There you go.
Yes. The ones most of us never need fear. I wonder what it would be. You think it would be like a well, you could probably put your snow leopard in there again. Do you think it would be like I bet it'd be a polar bear?
Could
What do you
be. You could I it might very
Full
well be. I don't know. In
dental
walrus?
walrus encounters?
Yeah.
Moose. I
Yeah.
bet it's a moose. Bet
Could
it's a
be a
moose.
moose. You never know.
Yeah.
I also know that when with global warming, it exposed the permafrost, and when
That's
the reindeer were hoofing it, through the permafrost, they were releasing all these bacteria that were killing the reindeer and killing people up there.
oh, yeah. I saw this
Yes.
thing last night, this excellent documentary about how we're trying to save our white rhinos, and they had
Wasn't that
finally
great?
see that? Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Katie Cleary made it for National Geographic. She's
Yeah.
incredible. She's such an
I know.
amazing and did you see where that they exposed all those mummies from the Maasai with the
Yes. Yes.
El Nino coming through and poor rhinos died.
They show the little
What
baby,
once
this little
again, oh,
baby
I
rhino
know.
in her
Little
hand,
babies in
oh
a
my
hand.
god.
That was awful. But
I
then
felt
I do
so
wonder
badly
oh, I did
for
too.
the one the German gentleman whose wife
Whose
had
wife
cancer
was
and was
dying. Horrible. I know. My children kept looking at me every 5 minminutes and they're like, "Are you crying again?" Because there was so
no,
much
and
joy and
friends,
sadness in that.
unpaid plug here, if you get Hulu, called, The Last White Rhinos,
The Last White Rhino. Mhm.
something like that. It's wonderful show
It's wonderful.
on the northern white rhino. Never knew there was a southern white rhino, but now I know that there is. So that's a wonderful show on Hulu, and, I love watching shows like that. I think that's the most fascinating thing. Yeah,
I think
learn
it's
something.
wonderful for us to watch shows like that and to read books like that where we see things that aren't necessarily tailored to our interests,
Mhm.
because then we really learn wonderful
Right.
things, you know?
And
So
that's what your books do. And that's why I think this is such a necessary addition to libraries, to kids reading, to parents reading to kids, because they're gonna be teaching us good facts that we don't know about, educating us to the world, and, just I really think this is one of the greatest series of science books for children/adults slash
thank
adults
you.
that I
I
have
really
seen.
appreciate that.
Well,
Thanks.
I've been
I
raving about this for a long
really
time.
hope that these children will go outside. That's my a lot of these books are about, things that don't live near us. But what
Right.
I've learned through talking to thousands and thousands of children is that the animals that they know most about are the ones that they see on television. And science and data backs us up on this. They know more about the white rhino and they know more about
Mhm.
koalas than they know about raccoons or, Carolina
Yeah,
wrens. And so I'm
yeah.
hoping that it'll help children to feel empowered to go
Right.
outside, start wondering about what's living right around them. Then
You
maybe
could
they'll take
you could you could even do the deadliest and then pick a continent. The deadliest creature on Australia, the
yeah.
deadliest creature in Asia, and well, we could go
Look,
on and on
I'm
about this,
learning that Australia and Asia, everybody's deadly. Like, that's where
Y
people are super, super duper deadly
You're
in
right.
those 2
You're
places.
right.
In
Well,
the
I'll tell you
United
what,
States, we're doing pretty great in terms of what's
pretty good,
deadly.
yeah. Now, you're gonna have another one coming out in the hidden world. Y y
Mhm.
is there gonna be a 4th one then in that series also?
It's just 3 for that
Just
one
3, okay.
series. So it's
Alright.
Secret Conversations, the bacteria and microbes that control our lives, and then pets and all the weird stuff for
And
pets.
these books, the Deadliest series are all 40 pages. The other ones, how long are the other books, the Hidden
They're
World?
much longer. I've actually got your pet's secret lives. It's 100 and something. I would think a third. Well, it says 215, but they make about 200 pages.
Okay.
But they're illustrated by this wonderful illustrator. I can turn to any page in this book and show you something delightful that he has done. His name is Rob Wilson, and he is a originally like a fashion illustrator. Here's some. Uh, these are hamsters having a
Oh,
stink
yes.
war.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But he does beautiful, illustrations, and we interview scientists who are studying this stuff. So
Wow.
this book you can more hop around to what's interesting to
Yeah.
you.
Uh-huh.
So
Well,
you
that's
can
awfully wonderful. You getting a
thanks.
lot of feedback from parents, from libraries, from schools?
I am. I get parents a lot of times tell me that it's gross or that they're frightened, and the children tell me that they love it. And that's something that I've learned through writing these books that's been a gift to me is that if I give talks to adults all the time anyway. I write a nature column for a North Carolina magazine. And so
Mhm.
I can give the same talk to adults and children about ants, for example.
Mhm.
And when I
Mhm.
fit and both of everybody can understand anything is what I've learned, if you just tell them what you're talking about, you don't have to
Mhm.
go nuts. And
Right.
so when I finish the talk with about ants, we're gonna say ants, the adults have the same first 2 questions almost every time, which are, "How do I get rid of them? And what good do they do?" And those are good questions. But the children have different questions when you ask them. The children will say, "Who are its mothers? What do they eat? How do I take care of it? Where do they sleep?" And so there's a wonder on this side. And then there's this pragmatic use on that side. And so what I'm hoping for, and just like the parents are very frightened of the deadliest animals and the children are very excited about it, I just want us to turn our heads back toward the wonder a little bit more and start thinking about things with wonder because the world is not that scary, you know? It's actually wonderful.
The more you know about it, you're right. You're
The
absolutely
more
right. By
you
the way,
know, right. Yes.
do they still sell those in-glass ant colonies you can get and you see the ants going around?
Yeah, they sell them.
Do
I
they?
I read something yesterday that they're being
Okay.
affected by the tariffs right now. Put tariffs on ant
Unbelievable.
colonies.
You never know.
But you can build them yourself with ants in your yard. So, just find out what they eat, where they how they like to live, pay attention to them, and you can bring them on inside, and your parents will heal you. Yeah.
That's
So
exactly right. All right. Well, very good. This has been one of the most informative and fun shows we've had. And I want to say just thank you. Thank you so
thank
much,
you,
Eleanor
Frank.
Spicer Rice, for being with us today. You've been a
You're such a
wonderful
joy to
guest.
talk to. I
Oh,
really appreciate you having me on.
thanks, Eleanor, for this highly fun and informative series on the Deadliest. I don't know about you folks, but think this is going to be a huge hit with kids, parents, school libraries. This is one of the most unique science series designed for children that I have ever seen. And to be quite honest, it teaches us adults a whole lot that we didn't know about. And so another edition of Books and Looks is in the books. On behalf of all of us here at Books and Looks, as well as our partner at booktrib.com, we thank you for allowing me to be part of your reading journey. Now, we're going to begin our fall season in just 2 short weeks, so come back then looking for a new edition of Books and Looks.